All right, good evening, guys. Good to have us again for the first edition of Data Chronicles in 2025. Great to end the year on a great note. All right, as you join in, just drop your name and where you are joining from. Just for example, Michael Lagos, where you are joining from and your name. So while we wait for our guest to join us in the studio. All right, guys, our guest is here. Samuel is here, and it's good to have you, Samuel. Please confirm you can hear me audibly. Can you hear me,
Uh,
Samuel?
yeah. Hi, Michael. Good
Yeah,
evening.
good evening. 1 minute, please.
All right.
All right, while we wait for others to join us, I wouldn't want to waste our time at all. Thank you so much once again for joining the call, Samuel. It's good to have you. Funny enough, this is the first time we'll be having Data Chronicles this year. Normally it's supposed to be something that comes up every month, but a lot of stuffs have really debarred us from having the session, and it's good to end the year on a very good note like this, talking about the future, which is AI, and what the future holds, for young minds, data professionals, and data enthusiasts. Good to have you. I think we got people are joining in now. Please, if you are joining in, if you're online, just drop your name and your location. So, for example, Michael Lagos, so that we know where you are joining from. Guys, drop your name and your location so that we can recognize you. Join in, guys. Join in, guys. Let me just send one more joining message and then we start. Yeah. Okay. Okay, we have 3 people on the line. I will believe others will join in as we progress. Okay, without wasting. Okay, this is let's just wait 1 more minute. 5:05. We'll start. Yeah. Okay, it's a good time to start now. For those not just joining us, this is Data Chronicles 6.0. We've had 5 editions in the past, and that has afforded us to bring in notable data professionals, data leaders in Nigeria and across the world. And in today's episode, we have a notable data professional, someone that has, had a lot of experience in the field and had tremendous success so far in his career in the person of Samuel, and Samuel is on the call here. So if you are just joining, you are welcome. Just mention your name and your location. So, for example, Michael, Lagos, and so on and so forth. And for those that will also watch this, after the session, a lot of people will see join, and then a lot of people will also watch the recordings. We also want to say that yes, this is a session you shouldn't miss, and we hope we'll keep up with subsequent editions. Apologies for that quick break. Okay, now I have on my screen just a short brief about Samuel. He's done a lot, but it's just something to you know show us what Samuel has done in the past. He is a highly motivated data professional driven by growth and equipped with extensive experience in diverse data roles, proficient in, of course, complex data tools, passionate about utilizing data to tackle problems and collaborating with teams to deliver valuable outcomes. Samuel is a data professional, of course, and a data educator as well. Professionally, his expertise has resulted in development of remarkable data products, securing an investor for data-driven projects in the past, and being awarded the Innovation Champion Award of the year 2024. That's massive. That's a great one there. Someone that has been able to innovate in a global thing, in a global company, in the company that is known, you know, far around the world, and being the innovation champion in the year 2024 at Core Technologies. That's a big one, and it currently contributes to the digitalization of financial operations across Africa. In his current role at Core Technologies, is instrumental to digitalizing financial operations across Africa, leveraging data to drive innovation and efficiency in the financial sector. Just a brief about trainings and mentorship, which is why he is on this program today. Samuel is a seasoned data trainer and has successfully facilitated more than 12 cohorts of Tech for Dev Women's Tech Stars Bootcamp program that is called the Data Analytics Track. So he has facilitated more than 12 consecutive cohorts. I beg your pardon. Nurturing aspiring data enthusiasts and newbies along their path to excellence in the data field. Great profile here. And of course, as you can see on your screen, he has trained over 5,000 individuals. He has contributed data-wise to about 12 bootcamp cohorts. Like I said earlier, he was the innovation champion at Core Technologies in 2024. And of course, this impact, all of them has global reach and impact. In terms of strategic partnerships, Samuel has also, with his growth plans and community dedication, Samuel has formed partnerships with various organizations to provide guidance and support to individuals embarking on data journey. He has had such strategic partnership with Oschool. Oschool, it's a well-known edutech. Seed Builders, I think Seed Builders in Abuja. Plural Code, one of the fastest growing, globally recognized tech, edutech. Lagos Innovate, and Lagos State Government. And of course, finally, having trained over 5,000 individuals across the globe, helping people get started and become better data professionals. It is indeed evident that Samuel's impact is truly far-fetching, and I think this awesome profile deserves a round of applause. Oh, thank you so much, guys, for joining. I can see Tifa, I can see Ayush, I think we have six online currently. This is just a brief about Samuel, and I think it's great to really have him here. Thank you so much, Samuel, for joining. Over to you now. So the way it's going to go is Samuel is going to come in, tell us a bit about the topic. Okay, maybe I should introduce that topic again. The topic we are going to be discussing today is 2026 and beyond. What it takes to be a successful data professional amidst the AI revolution. Now, we've heard about AI revolution and the rest. So Samuel is going to be walking us through what you need to know, right, about this AI revolution of a thing. A lot of people are scared currently, and they're like, what does the future hold? Is my job still safe as a data analyst, as a data scientist, even as a data engineer? We've heard of news from Amazon, from different corners of what is happening. So we just want to discuss issues around this and how we can, leverage on the opportunities around to still stay relevant. And after a few short introduction into the topic by Samuel, we are then going to go in deep dive into what we are here for today, which is, I'll be asking some couple of questions, and then Samuel is going to be doing justice to that. And while I'm doing that, online people, please drop your questions. So immediately I'm done, we then attend to your questions in the comment section. And then I believe after that, we must have been well equipped for the next level. All right, I take it. I hand it over to Samuel from here.
Yeah, hi. Okay, so don't mind me. I'm just trying to like get the proper background because where I am is but yeah, please confirm that you can hear me.
Clearly,
All right,
sharp.
awesome. Okay, so hi everyone. Good evening. I just was doing great. Thank you very much, Michael, for that fantastic introduction. So yeah, my name is Samuel, right? Samuel Iheagwam, and I think like Michael rightly said, I have been a bit here and there in data. I currently work at Core Technologies as a senior data developer, and I also run database administration operations as well. So whatever concerns data at core, you will definitely see me involved, right? So I think that's about that. I bring in basically some bit of technical expertise, not just technical expertise, but a lot of strategic expertise as well, right? Helping the business grow from the data side. I think that's about that. Now, so I have like some bit of notes that I made on my end. So I have like two screens at the moment. So I'm just going to pick out some key points from there and then talk about them. Um, Basically, I believe everyone here is into data, or maybe starting out or currently practicing or looking to practice. Can we get that in the chat? Can we see what are you doing currently? Are you like practicing? Are you still in the process of taking a course? Are you looking to even begin a course? Let me know what's your current status in the chat. I hope I can see this chat.
Yes, guys, please let's yeah, the chat is by the side.
So
Guys,
let me
let's
see
drop what
who
we'll do
we have.
currently. Yeah, right.
Okay, so I'll just look at one, two persons and then get going.
Guys, let's drop in our comment section. Are you a data analyst? Are you an enthusiast? You just
Yeah,
preparing to, venture into the field of data? Oh, Tifia
all
Ajayi said
right.
fully working data analyst.
You're
Great.
working as a data analyst. Awesome. One more person. Okay,
It's
so
an
it's an
amazing
amazing
field.
field. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I believe it's an amazing field, but it definitely has its own chaos as well. I'm sure Michael can relate. So there's a lot of chaos in the data field. It's certainly amazing. It's a really good one, but yeah, it's also very, very chaotic.
Mm.
Okay, so I'll just wait for one more person to confirm what their current status is, whether they are practicing, already working, taking up a course, or even looking to begin something. Okay, so in the absence of that, because of time, right, I think we just get going. All right. Like I already mentioned, my name is Samuel Iheagwam, and that's just it. Right. Now, the topic today says 2026 and beyond, what it takes to be a successful data professional amidst the AI revolution. Um, Now, everyone would agree with me that we're currently in the AI age, right? And there's a whole lot happening. In 2023, a lot of us feared that AI would take our jobs, right? There was this panic everywhere. There was a lot of panic everywhere that AI would take our jobs, and we saw people trying to rethink their lives, re-strategize, and the likes. Fast forward to 2025, right? Or to this point where we are currently, we are now able to see that, oh, AI is not really taking our jobs, right? It's not taking our jobs compared to how we thought about it in the last couple of years, 2022, 2023, with the advent of LLMs like ChatGPT, Gemini, and the likes. AI is basically not going to take our jobs, right? We're beginning to see all of that. But that's not all. Now, by 2026, by 2027, down to 2030, we will begin to realize that AI itself is going to serve as a guide. It's going to serve as a companion, right? For people who are forward thinking, who are very strategic, what they would do would be that they would make AI their intents. It's going to be one of the most powerful intents that organizations are hiring, right? Now they're not hiring these interns to like take you out of the job market or whatsoever. They are having these interns, AI interns, right? LLMs that would basically carry out certain tasks and likes. Now they are hiring these interns to help you perform better. Those interns or assistants, as majority of us would decide to call them, right? They would
Mm. Mm.
help you focus on the critical things that are important for your business. Things that need you to strategize, things that need you to perform better, those are where you focus on. While these AI assistants, your LLM models, your interns, they would help you focus on the other things that are not as highly important as what you currently need to devote your time to. Now, of course, we're all humans, right? There's a whole lot that we get to do by the day. There's a whole lot, right? So at the end of the day, we're already beginning to realize that it is not a case of AI versus humans, right? It's a case of AI and humans, right? Together, we can be able to achieve a whole lot of things that we want to achieve. Now, one of the things that I usually talk about, of course, in order for you to survive the AI era, to not allow you to take your job and all that, a lot of people would have told you already that it is not even the AI that is going to take your job. The AI that you fear will take your job is not even the one that will take your job, right? Um, it is the people who are able to utilize AI effectively well that will take your job. Now, this is something that most people have talked about, right? However, in today's age, you currently see it is not, in fact, humans are even relaxing, right? At the end of the day, I think
Mm.
humans are like the consumers. We are the people enjoying it because what we have now today is AI wars. We have
Mm.
ChatGPT versus Gemini. They are both contending to see who has more this than the other, right? So
Mm.
currently, humans are like just chilling. At the end of the day, we're just waiting for the AI that is most useful, most important to come up, and then we make use of it, right? So
Mm.
how do you make sure that you shape yourself into that stage whereby you use AI and not allow the AI use you, right? So you have to
Mm.
learn it. You have to make sure that you understand the very very foundations of whatever you're doing. For example, in data, let's say you're a data analyst, right? You need to understand the foundations of data, let's say you're a data analyst, you need to understand the very foundations of data analytics. What exactly does data analytics mean? What are the processes? What is the life cycle like, right? You need to understand. These are the things that I need to do. I'll give you a quick one. Last night, I was trying to do a prompt using DeepSeek. And I think I currently use the ChatGPT free version, and
Mm.
I had exhausted my limit. So I decided to like go to DeepSeek, which is Chinese owned, and try to use it for that particular process. And at some point, it started giving me like wrong information. In fact, it gave me a lot of. I'm not sure if I want to share my screen right now, but then it gave me like a lot and lot of wrong information with so much confidence. So I was trying to get some information about one of the co-founders that previously worked where I currently work, right? And then DeepSeek kept giving me a lot of nonsense information. And
Mm.
now, if I was someone that I do not have an idea of what I'm looking at, I would just pick all that, go and paste, and then zoom off with it. At the end of the day, what happens? I become stupid more than even the LLM was. Now, I
Mm.
had to tell it direct. Everything that you have provided here is absolute misinformation. Everything here is lies. None of
Mm.
this is true. Even on the internet, I had to give it prompts, look through the internet, correct yourself, and provide me the accurate information. Now it went back, it gave me all that again. And what happened? It still gave me more misinformation, more more
Wow.
falsified information. I had to tell it that you're
Yeah.
still giving me misinformation, and this is absolutely wrong. Now, as a typical Nigerian, I had to tell it this is why ChatGPT and Gemini is better than you, right? So, because I was already getting upset at that point. Now, what happened? It had to tell me that at this point, it has realized that his model is flawed. If you don't mind, I can share that particular part that the model is flawed and it has consistently generated an output that is not true. Now, as a result of that, it will no longer respond to me again so that it does not keep giving me misinformation, right? It does not keep giving me falsified information. Now, think about it this way. This was for me trying to get an information of someone because I need to make an application for something, right? Now, think about it this way. In the case where you are using this type of AI assistant for your work, right? Say you're carrying out a data operation and you have no idea what you're doing, you're not informed, you just basically passing your data, you start allowing it to do the stuff for you. What happens at the end of the day? It generates you poor insight, falsified information at the end of the day. And now, because you don't have any knowledge of what you want to do, you take all of those insights, no vetting, no nothing, and then you start working with it. At the end of the day, you mislead your stakeholders, right? When you mislead your stakeholders, what happens? You end up putting the company in problem. Now, for a lot of times, right, I do tell people in my trainings, if you do something like that and then you misinform your stakeholders, at the end of the day, you will do jail. And if I ever come to visit you in jail, I'm just going to tell you that remember I told you to understand the basics, understand and know what you're doing, right? So it will help you serve as the foundation for other things. Now, one of the things I like to talk about a lot is that every advanced aspect, because a lot of us we want to start learning the advanced aspect. But I say it all the time, everything you want to do that is advanced is built based on the basics. So you must first go back, learn the very basics of everything,
Mm.
right? And then you can now proceed into advanced. If you don't learn the basics, there's
True.
no way you can understand the advanced aspects. So even the advanced aspects, they will still need you to go back to the basics, right? Because they are built on the basics. So it's important that we understand the very foundations of whatever we're doing, whether you're a data scientist, you are an ML engineer, you are a data analyst, you need to understand the very foundations of your operations, right? Now, one thing I like to say is that in order for us to survive the AI revolution, as data professionals, we must move from being a task taker to a solutions architect. Now, of course, there are various steps to all of this, right? First off, you get an internship. Then next, you land a full-time role. Right. Next, you become maybe an intermediate. Next, you become a senior. You move into managerial positions and all that. Right. However, I usually say that the faster that you are able to move from taking task and taking maybe instructions to perform something, when you move from that phase into being able to think extensively, to say, oh, I think if I apply this strategy, we would see this particular turnaround. If we decide to go this route or we implement this particular strategy, we would have this particular XXX amount of returns. Now, the moment you
Okay.
start thinking extensively, it then helps you to position you as someone who is going to be trusted, and AI and cannot be replaced by AI, basically. Because again, it is someone who does not know what they are doing. You don't understand the basics, you don't understand your role, you don't understand your job. It is you who AI is going to replace. But once
True.
you understand the things that you're doing, there's absolutely no way AI is going to replace you. Instead, AI is going to be a tool that would help amplify your extraordinary abilities, right? The things
Mm.
that you know how to do, you will be able to do them more faster, more better, more efficiently than previously, right? So it's important that we understand how to move from being a task taker to a solutions architect. I think that's about that for now. What we're going to talk about, I think Michael would be providing some of these questions, right? So we're going to talk about other things later on. The next 10 years, building value and the like. So basically, this is just like a brief of what I have to say about the topic. Over to you, Michael.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Samuel. That was profound, and I think everyone will agree with me that we have not started yet, but this is just like an iceberg of what we are to expect in the next couple of minutes. Now, you said something that really struck me. You mentioned that you were trying to prompt DeepSeek, and the response you got was not too good, right? You have to tell it that yeah, Gemini and ChatGPT is better. Yes, I've used DeepSeek before. I'm not yet at the questions. I just wanted us to talk more on this particular area. I've used DeepSeek for some things, but I discovered that it was very elaborate for me, especially when I wanted it to speak more to designs. So, what do you think? Do you think these tools have their area of strength, in the sense that some are very good in this area compared to this? Because when you were saying that, I was like, "Oh, so DeepSeek is not that." Yeah, I'm not really. I love ChatGPT, but when I use it for that kind of graphics, and then please help me just do one or two of these, arrange it well, do some architectural stuff, and it was very good. So, do you think these tools are better? They have their own strengths, basically. Mm,
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So, now one of the reasons I was upset was because DeepSeek is also one of my favorite LLMs till date, right?
mm,
So it was kind of like chaotic for me. Now, so I think you're absolutely right when you say they have like different strengths, right? Absolutely.
mm,
Um,
mm,
upon the should I say emergence of DeepSeek. Right now, DeepSeek has a lot of strength in writing code, performing mathematical operations, programming operations, and all that, right? And which is something that I use it specifically for. Now, if so over time, I have noticed that if I use DeepSeek to try to like generate text, to try to maybe create text articles, right? It doesn't
mm,
give me exactly what I want. So in my own understanding, it doesn't have like a solid strength in that aspect, right? But when it comes to programming, when I pass in a code into DeepSeek, it performs
Spot on.
amazingly well, right?
Spot
It
on.
does amazingly well. When I try to build an architecture of a particular system, DeepSeek performs amazingly well, even better than ChatGPT in that regard, right? I think ChatGPT is like general. It's a generalist. It does a whole lot. It's absolutely great when it comes to code. It's absolutely great when it comes to writing text and articles and all that, right? But they all have their strengths as well. For example, now there was an article I was also trying to write
Prefer
recently,
says he prefers
and
cloud. Claude.
oh yeah. So Claude has its own advantage as well. I have used Claude. So I've worked with Claude, I've worked with Gemini, I've worked with ChatGPT, I've worked with DeepSeek, I've worked with Mercury, and a couple of others as well, right? And
Mm,
they all
mm,
have their significant strength. For example, Mercury AI, it's specifically for programming. Now, if Mercury AI cannot even provide you an article, it keeps everything short, right? But when you give it mathematical operations or programming operations, it's super, super fast. I think it's like the fastest LLM I have used till date, faster than
yeah.
GPT, Gemini, and the likes, right? And then there's many others as well, like both AI that allows you to be able to like create websites and all that. So all of these LLMs, they have their strengths basically, right? I think for ChatGPT, it's more of like a generalist. It has like a lot of capabilities, but it also has its own weaknesses. So it's important for us to understand all of these weaknesses and strengths, and then know when to utilize a particular model for any operation. For example, I use Gemini and I also use Claude, right? Now there's some stuff that I am putting together. Now what I do is that I get it from both Gemini, ChatGPT, and then compare. Now so far, for most of my previous articles I have written, right? ChatGPT does it really good. But now I am beginning to see that Gemini provides me even more better structure than ChatGPT. Now, what I get to do is that I combine them together. At the end of the day, I take it to Claude and restructure it finally, right? To get the
Mm,
complete or final version of what I want to do. So it's important that we
great.
understand what are like their strengths and how we can be able to utilize them. Now, previously, before all of these AI models and the likes, it will probably take us lots and lots of time to put these things together. For example, let's say you want to write a book or an article, right? It would take you days, weeks, even months to put out the right words, to structure them properly, make sure that you get everything together, and then publish. However, lately, what we just need to do is to get the topic that you want, understand the topic really, really good, and then pass in the right prompt. There's something called prompt engineering, right? Which allows you to be able to pass in the right prompt. Tell your LLMs, this is what I want you to do. Don't give me information about this aspect. Make sure that you're bringing this particular thing for me. Focus on these elements and all that, right? So when you're able to prompt your LLMs very well, you are then able to like get significant results that's tailored well to what you actually want, right? So like I said, previously it would take you lots of time to get certain things done, but now you're able to get them done within days, even hours, right? Most of these sessions I have attended in the last couple of months, I end up preparing my slides on the day of the event, right? Or maybe the night before. Now, this is something in previous years, it would probably take me lots of
True.
time. I have to like
True.
start going to PowerPoint, look at
True.
these. But now all I need to do is just understand the topic I want to talk about, understand the concept, what I really want to say. And then I go on the LLM, give it the right prompt, and it will produce me an outline of my slides. I just take it and start preparing it. Right now, it's not providing the slide for me because I have there are LLMs that would help you generate slides like Gamma, right? but they don't give you the accurate stuff that you want. So I still have to apply some human touch to it. Now, what this means is that I have the AI as an assistant to help me fast track my work, right? Now, the time it takes for me to ideate and then move to production is now shortened, right?
Shorter.
So it helps speed up the whole process for me, and then I am able to like generate what I want to do within hours, make my final touches, and I'm able to like deliver amazingly well. So yeah, back to your question. It's important for us to understand their various strengths. There's also Grok, right? I haven't used Grok at all, but then
Yeah.
the Grok
That's
has its own
Twitter, right?
significant strengths as well. Yeah, it has its own significant strengths as well. I think a lot of people use Grok outside of Twitter, and they've said it performs amazingly well. That it some people have even said it outperforms the likes of Gemini, GBT, and the likes, right? But then until I also give it a shot, I would never know how well it performs in my own case. But yes, they all have their specific strengths, and we need to be aware of that and know when and how to use them better.
Spot on, spot on. Thank you so much, Samuel. Just to buttress what you just said now, when you said things that you would have done that would take 2, 3, 4 days, slides that you prepare for days, in split, let's say in second, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, you
Yeah.
are done. Just to buttress that, I was having a meeting with my team, end of the year meeting with the Eagles consulting team. And that same day, I wanted to make a design that would be at least catchy. I had like the skeletal structure of what I wanted to talk about. And then I just gave it to, it was even DeepSeek. DeepSeek or Gemini? Gemini, please give me a good design in HTML. And then it was just so fantastic. I shared with one of the members of my team, I think two of them, and they were like, "How did I do this?" So I think one of them did that. So one was aware that I used that to send. The other one, "How did I do this massive design?" I said, that's just the help of the helper, the technical helper." Just like Tifa said, that think of it as a PA. Yeah, thank you so much. Before I move to the main questions, you made mention of something, and I want you to just elaborate a bit on it. You said we need to start thinking, changing our thinking from being a task taker to a solution architect. This is very profound for me because I know it's more or less, I don't want to talk, I want you to just elaborate on this. That's a very key thing for me, and I want you to just elaborate. How do people move from being a task taker to a solution architect? What are the steps? What are the things to do to move, take that trajectory move? Thank you. You are muted. You are muted.
Yes, awesome. Thank you very much. So I think that's like a really, really fantastic one. Now, of course, like I already mentioned, there are certain levels to handling things, right? Now, in order for us to move from being a task taker to a solutions architect, right? It requires experience. That is a critical thing. It requires experience. And experience comes over a period of time. It's not something that happens in a single day and the likes, right? So what we need to focus on is getting that experience. When you get that experience, you become an expert. That's how it works. Now I'm going to give a typical case of me. I currently work with Core, right? I work with Core Technologies. And I remember when I joined Core Technologies, right? I used to struggle with a lot of things in terms of understanding how the organization's goals are, right? And how I can make my own mark as well, right? However, I think I'll just say it because during my feedback as well, I got the same feedback, and I was also aware in my first year that I needed to move from um, being able to like just implement, wait for my manager to say, oh, here's what we're going to do, and then we'll start implementing, right? I knew that I needed to move from that point into preferring recommendations to my manager and the top level management as well to say, based on what we currently have, this is what we need to do. This is how we can make our systems better. This is how we can also cut down on cost. This is how we can optimize our operations and all that. Right now, for me to have gotten to that level today where I am able to provide solutions to the organization to say, this is it, this is it. I've carried out extensive analysis. I have practiced. I have tried this out. This is the outcome. I believe when we implement it as well, we would likely see this XXX amount of turnaround or ROI and the likes. Now, for me to have gotten to that point, I needed to have started off from the point where I have to understand the processes. So again,
Mm.
experience, right? You need to first get the experience. You need to work on things. You need to build your knowledge. You need to build yourself. The more you work on it, the more you are able to do things, the more you are able to think extensively. Now, one of the things I have recently started telling people is don't just understand the operations, understand how it happens behind the scenes because it's going to help you a whole lot. For example, you write a query, select all from, let's say you write a SQL query, right? Select all from table A, where 1 is equal to 2, right? Now, what happens behind the scenes? In the SQL engine, what exactly is happening? How is it processing this? Now, if this is reading from a large database table, what exactly is happening? What are the pages that it is reading from? What index is on that particular table that is helping it run faster? So understanding all of these processes behind the scenes would also help you become exceptional. This is one thing that would help you stand out completely because then you are now able to say, oh, maybe for example, your organization is struggling on whether to use Snowflake or Databricks, right? Or Databricks rather. You're then able to tell them, oh, I think at this point in time, this is what we're looking at. This is our budget. This is the projects that we have at hand. This is what we aim to achieve. I think Snowflake would be the better option because why? Snowflake will give us this advantage. It will help us in this area. It's more solid than this in this aspect. Or I think Databricks works just fine because it is this. It's currently the number one data platform. It's this. It has this and the likes. Right. So understanding the things that happen behind the scenes would also help you to stand out from every other person. Now, in the case where everybody understands, oh, select all from table A where 1 is equal to 2, right? Everybody understands what it does. But in the behind the scenes, how are you able to stand out from every other person, right? Understand how the engine works and the likes. So basically, to answer your question, I would say experience. You need to get the experience, and there's only one way to get experience. That is to work on things. Immerse yourself in projects. Immerse yourself in various things, right? Go beyond just working engineering behind the scenes. Absolutely great. So you want to go beyond just the surface level things in order for you to be exceptional, to stand out from every other person, right? So ensure that you're working on critical projects that would push you beyond your comfort zone, right? Projects that would help you be able to actually make a mark. Now you work on those projects. At the end of the day, those projects would open your mind to more concepts, right? They would open your minds to more things that you never even realized were there. So once you begin to work on more projects, you start getting all those experience, you gain those experience, and then from there you become an expert. So that's how it
Mm.
works. It works.
Good.
Practice over time, you gain the experience over time, and then you become an expert. Right. So for you to become an expert, you have to get that experience. And experience comes from doing certain things over a period of time. Right. Now that way you're then able to move from being just a tax taker, waiting for your manager to give you tax, to moving to telling your manager, oh, I think we should do this. I think we need to do this. We need to move in this direction based on my analysis. This is what works best for us, right? And the likes. And then absolutely, you should be able to make a good mark.
Spot on. Thank you so much, Samuel. Basically, in simple terms, you start from practicing, and then from there you build experience, and then from there you build expertise. And that way,
Absolutely,
following that flow, you move from being a task taker to a solution
the
architect.
solutions architect.
Spot on.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Yeah, maybe we digressed a bit, but that was very, very important. I needed, our audience to get a glimpse of what that means and how to apply that. Now, next, back to the next question. We've seen this happen with Amazon. Millions, thousands of layoffs. CEO of IBM also announced slowing down with recruitment, about 26,000 back office roles. We've had it with some couple of companies as well, including Check, Homework Help, and the news is just going on and on. Everywhere there is that cut off, people trying to slow down hiring, companies trying to, reduce cost at all cost. Now, do you think we are safe, Samuel?
Okay, so that's a really good one. Are we safe? As human beings, in fact, first off, human beings on this earth, we're not even safe, first off, right? So, but yeah, when it comes to the case of the layoffs, right? I think different organizations have like their different reasons why they lay people off. For some people, it's because they want to cut down on costs. For other people, it's because they are trying to innovate further, bring in AI and all that, right? So I'm just going to look at it from like different perspective. I'm not a C-level executive, so I might not have like the specific reason why organizations do that. Now, let's talk about in the case of implementing artificial intelligence. Are we safe when organizations implement artificial intelligence systems, and then in so doing, lay off their credible talents? Now, that's a really, really good one. And I feel like it's also painful to a lot of extent, right? But then, whether we are safe or not is what we need to find answers to. On one end, I would absolutely say we're safe. On the other end, I would say we're not safe. Now, this is because I want to be as honest as possible, right? Now, for me, I would say was safe because we've seen firsthand. I think I'll just probably have to Google it, but we've seen firsthand organizations that have laid off their staffs in order to implement AI systems. They have had to go back to hiring their staffs or hiring new staffs because the AI systems that they have implemented have not really been able to deliver as much compared to humans. Now, again, I would say this for executives and management who know what they are doing, they understand that where we are currently is not a case of AI versus humans. It's absolutely is not. It is a case of AI and humans. The humans that we have, they use AI to improve their work, get things done faster for the organization. Organization is making more money within a shorter period compared to previously. Right now, for the organizations who think that it is a case of replacing their staffs with AI, for some of them it works good, right? For also some of them it does not work good, right? I've seen a lot of cases. For example, we have one in our very own country, right? The case of Childec laying off hundreds of their staffs because they wanted to automate their customer service agents, right? And then used artificial intelligence models for that. And it's turned out to be a lot of chaos at the end of the day, right? They ended up pushing out publications or openings, right? That they wanted to hire humans to do those jobs again. So first off, I think in all honesty, I would say we are not yet at the age where AI is going to replace humans. Next year, by 2030, we are still not going to be at that age. There's something called super AI, right? It's the aspect of AI, or the type of AI that will be able to fully handle task by itself without any commands. For example, your ChatGPT does not know what you're thinking, right? It needs you to prompt it. It needs you to give it instructions before it is able to do anything. For Siri on your phone to be able to do any task, it needs instructions from you, right? So what this means is that these AI systems are not replacing us at this point in time. They are taking information from us, instructions from us to perform certain actions, right? The same thing also happens in the organizations. Now, in the organizations, people need to still give those AI prompts, right? You still need to tell them this is what you need to respond with. You program responses, people still need to do all of those. We've not gotten to the part where AI is able to think for itself, right? So it means that we are absolutely safe until we get to that point where AI is able to think for itself. The case of super AI and like, right? Then we're no longer safe. But for now, we're absolutely safe. Now, again, like I mentioned, for organizations who know what they are doing, they would not replace their human powers with AI. Instead, they will bring in AI and merge it with their human superpowers, and then create a very strong collaboration from there. But then we have a few organizations who have decided to say, oh, you know what, we're going to lay off. Now, from what I believe, most of those layoffs are not because they don't have competent talents. It's simply because they want to figure out ways to reduce costs. So that is one aspect. Now, for most times, if an organization feels like you're more of a liability, you are not delivering for them a lot, right? They get you replaced. In very rare cases, would you see someone who is highly skilled or talented, knows what they are doing, being laid off, right? Most times, when people are being laid off, they start from the ground level. Who are the people that don't know what they are doing? Who are the people that are not contributing to the organizational goals in a significant manner? Who are the people that are not making their mark in the organization? Those are the people that usually get laid off, right? Sometimes you see that, oh, someone has done significant operations and still get laid off, right? Now, there are certain things that still um, comes into play in that regards to have certain people like that get laid off. But again, what I'm trying to say is that if you leave your mark in an organization, right? You leave a solid mark in an organization, the tendency of you getting laid off is going to be very reduced. First off, you're not leaving the organization because another human is coming to the organization, right? It means you also are not leaving the organization because of an AI system who still needs to be prompted or told things before they can do it. Now, I think this is also a good one where we need to move from taking instructions to the point of providing solutions, right? Because if you are a solutions giver, you're a solutions architect, right, it will be difficult for an organization to want to let go of you, right? Because of course they know there's so much coming out of this particular person, right? But in the case where all you do is sit down, wait for tasks to be given to you before you can help the organization grow, then in such cases, right, they don't consider you as someone who is actually helping them grow. So again, you want to move from being just task taker, task doer, to someone who is able to say, this is it, let's do it this way, and all that.
Spot on, spot on. Thank you so much, Samuel. Thank you so much. Now, my next question will be in 2020, 2019, around 2021 as well. There are times I have four, five, three, just like that, a lot of interviews. But the case is not the same now. Things has really changed. To put this into context, I've seen C-suite executives struggle for job currently in the data field. What do you think the next 10 years hold for data professionals? Looking at what we are currently facing, what do you think the next 10 years hold?
Mm.
How do you think the next 10 years will look like?
Yeah. So that's a really good one. Yeah, I think that's a very honest one, right? Because myself, I would also say that, in all honesty, previously it used to be pretty much easy, right, to get
Mm,
a particular job or gig.
mm,
However, in recent times, it has become significantly higher. Now, there are a couple
mm,
of reasons why, right? There are a couple of reasons why, and
mm,
one of which is competition. The competition lately has now become really, really severe, right? We have so many
mm,
people who are competing for the same role. For example, there's a job opening for a data analyst. There's like 5,000 applications for that particular job, right?
mm.
So it becomes really, really critical. The competition
True,
there goes over the roof. Now,
true.
how do you make sure that in such cases you stand out? What are the things that you're doing to make yourself stand out? Now, let's say myself, you, and everybody on this call, right? We're applying for the same role. We have a data analyst role, and then we're all applying for it. Now, what are you doing on your end to make sure that you come out outstanding than me and the other people on the call? What am I also doing to make sure that I come out outstanding than you and every other person on the call? So, what is everyone doing individually? Right now, the competition is over the roof, so it means you need to do something that would make you stand out from the crowd. Of course, the same way I am thinking of standing out from the crowd is also the same way you are thinking of standing out. Everyone is thinking of standing out. But what is that thing that is going to pique the interest of the employers or the reviewers of your application to say, oh, I think this person stands out even more better out of every other outstanding applications, right? So you need to start thinking about those things. In some cases, one of the things you want to do is before making your applications, understand the organizations. How can you contribute to them? You're not just applying simply because you want to get a job. Of course, that we all know as job seekers that
Mm,
that is the main
true.
thing. I want to get a job. I
Absolutely.
need to
Then go.
finance myself, right? But then you want to talk to these people even better. You want to tell them that, oh, I'm coming to you because I have so much in me to give, right? Not just to get from you. I have so much to give. These are some of the problems that you are currently undergoing or maybe undergoing. And here is how I can solve these problems for you, right? So you want to show that you have that capacity in you to be able to solve their business problem or get them to the next level. Right now, like I already mentioned, there are certain things that can be factored into why it takes longer time to get jobs lately. Right now, one of which I talked about is competition. Now, second, which is a very, very critical one, is the use of AI systems. Now, in today's age, we have so many people utilizing AI to in all aspects of their life, right? Of course, as I'm talking to you, I'm using AI also, right, to try to get some things done. So, how am I making sure that I stand out at the end of the day? Right now, this particular use of AI has now made um, job how should I put it? It has now made job seeking even more tedious. Now there's a competition, and then in a pool of 7,000 applications, we have, let's say, about 5,000 persons who have used AI to like enhance their CVs, enhance their application and all that. Now it becomes even more difficult for the reviewers to like try to figure out who are the top talents here, right? Now they also now have to use AI systems to like try to read through these AI applications and all that. So it becomes more difficult at the end of the day. Now there's the aspect of competition. There's now also the aspect of artificial intelligence defined or developed CVs and applications, right? So it's all just problem upon problem. Now in such cases, how can you be able to make sure that you stand out? Now, one of the things I would always preach about is selling your skills, right? I believe not even in the next 10 years, right? Of course, it's going to happen in the next 10 years, but from 2026, it's already happening in 2025. But from 2026, we will begin to see more roles, more employments that are based on recommendations. How do I mean? We begin to see, oh, I would reach out to Michael. Hi, Michael. I have a role in my organization. I need you to. I see that you are talented in this. You have actually solved this problem for XYZ organization. I believe you would be a great fit to our organization, right? If you are interested, come and let's work. If not, please recommend someone that you trust. This is how it's going to be from 2026. We're going to see more of recommendation-based employment from 2026 and the next 10 years. Because why? Word of mouth goes faster than all the other applications. Now, everyone needs someone who is going to vet other people for them. Now, our HRs, they are swarmed with lots of AI developed applications, right? So they might not be able to get more or all of those top talents. Now, for them to do that, what they will now need is to get people who they trust, people who they believe have made certain mark, and then they talk to these people, recommend me or refer me your own guys, someone you know can do this, right? So now this is now going to be a matter of how do you show that you are good enough to be recommended. Now, this is where it also comes to experience, showing that you have an experience in helping organizations solve a particular problem. Also showing that, oh, I have been there before, right? I have the skill, I have the capacity, I can do this and that. These are things that would help you position yourself to be recommended. Now, away from that, there's one thing else that would help, that would certainly help you stand out, and that is by putting yourself out publicly. Let people know what you're doing. Let people know that you are capable of certain things. A lot of us might say, oh, when we put out our work, I work on a project and I post it out on LinkedIn or on Twitter, I end up getting 2 likes, 10 likes, and the likes. Of course, nobody owes you any likes and comments. Nobody owes you that. That is the truth. You're not
True, true,
paying for those platforms. So
true.
nobody owes you likes. Nobody owes you any of those things, right? However, what you fail to understand is that people are seeing your content. People are seeing your content. It's not getting liked, it's not getting engaged, but people are certainly seeing your content. And because people are seeing your content, they start knowing you. So when your content comes to my timeline a couple of times, I begin to look forward to your next content. That's how it happens psychologically, right? I may not expect it, but I begin to look forward to your next content. Now, what happens in the case where I now have a problem that is relating to that? I am then able to think fast. Oh, there's this guy on my timeline that always posts projects like this. Let me reach out to that particular person. Same way it also happens. If it is not me, someone else is trying to get something done, I will quickly be prompted to think, oh, there's someone on my timeline that I always see that post. It makes a lot of sense. I love these solutions and their strategies and their approach, right? Let me plug you to that person. That's how it's going to happen. So it's important that at this point, you also want to start understanding the concept of publicity. Start putting yourself out. Let people know what you do. Um, you may not decide to like go full public. You have people in your connect, you have people in your space, in your small circles. Let them know what you
What you
do.
do.
Let them know how you are solving problems in for businesses, how you are approaching situations, right? Let them know about these things. Let them know what your skill set is about. And that way, if there's any opportunity, they would definitely plug you into it. You'd be the first person that they are reaching out to. Now, I'm saying this because I have actually witnessed this firsthand myself. right? I think I had like a transformation in my career from year 2022 till date. And every work that I have had to do, right? Every gig, every contract I have handled, I have never had to apply for any of them, right? So I'm saying this not because it's easy to say. I'm saying it because I have actually walked the talk, right? I'm a living witness of this. So what you want to do is let people know your work. Let people know your strengths. Let them know your
Community
skill
work.
set and what you can do, and they will definitely put you on. Most of the organizations where I've had to carry out processes for them, or I've consulted, or even trained their staffs, I've never had to apply for them, right? I've not applied to any of them. However, I've had people reach out to me and say, "Oh, someone recommended you. This person recommended you," and the likes. Now, aside from even people in my close connection that recommend me, that pull me out, I've also had people that I have worked with, right, leaving feedbacks to their own connections, and that way they have now recommended me. For example, some of my students, I partnered with Old School last year, late last year and this year, right? I never applied for anything. Someone from Old School reached out to me and said, "Hi Samuel, you come in highly recommended." Now, I'm not coming highly recommended simply because someone from the management team talked about me. Absolutely no. Simply because people that have gone through trainings where I have facilitated talked about it. Not one, not two, not three. Multiple people have talked about, "Oh, Samuel is fantastic. Samuel is this. Samuel is that." And as a result of that, right, it begins to stick
Facilitated.
in the head, right? So that way they begin to, oh, if a good number of our students have actually mentioned this person, then of course it absolutely means one thing. This person is really good, right? So let's reach out to this person. That's how I landed a contract, a partnership contract with Old School Africa. I never applied for anything, and it's
Mm.
one of the biggest contract I have had till date, right? I never had to apply for anything. I got a recommendation. I got a call all of a sudden on my phone. "Hi, Samuel, you come highly recommended," right? So this is something that would definitely help you. Let people know your skills, right? Let people know what you are capable of doing. Let them know your strengths. And at the same time, as you get work, as you're getting all these gigs, please make sure that you're delivering fantastically well, right? Because when you deliver well, they would help you also in
Absolutely.
getting more gigs,
Deliver
more
well.
contracts, and the likes. Of course, you understand this is how Upwork works as well. You get one gig, they provide you a
Mm.
feedback. If the feedback is amazing, other people also want to give you more work, right? So that's it. So we're definitely going to get past the age of um all of us sending out applications at the same time for a particular job, right? It's from 2026 and more, it's going to be more referral based employment that would get to see. So you also want to put yourself in that case, start building yourself, sell yourself properly to your friends, your colleagues, people in your circle, and even to the public at large, right? Let everyone know what you're doing, right? And people will definitely have you in mind to recommend you for opportunities when the time comes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was profound. Thank you so much. Just to buttress what you said now, and the reason why I'm having this session today, let me start with that, is that I've had the opportunity to train a lot of students, mentor a lot of data professionals, and the same thing keeps happening, which is I've tried this, I've tried that, I've tried all I could, but it's still not working, and it's a burden to me, really. And that is really one of the major reasons why I had this session. And to buttress your point, I've had to recommend two people to a multinational company this year, and they got that role. And why did I recommend them? Simply because I kept seeing their works. I might not like you said, I might not even comment or something, but I kept
Absolutely.
seeing they are my people. I know them, they are on my team, But right, I can see it on LinkedIn, I can see it here, I can see, okay, this is the new dashboard I've built, this is the Python I'm working on, this is the project. It's always in my face. And even some of them will send it to my DM.
Yeah.
Mr. Mike, please can you help me just vet it? That alone makes it very easy for me to remember them, because it's been proven that repetition brings about, authenticity in a way, because people, when you repeat something over and over again, it sticks to the brain. The same thing with when you also put yourself out there, like Samuel has stated. That was profound. And that takes me to the next question. We are going to be honest. We are this is a session that proves honesty. I've seen a lot of people do Excel. I know Python. I know SQL. I know, SQL, Power BI, and all that. And sincerely, these guys have tried. At least to the best of their knowledge, these guys have tried. But I believe something is still missing. You made mention of some of them, but I just want us to elaborate on it again. When people say, oh, build value, some will say, yes, I've built the value. I have the skills, I have the Excel, I have this, I have Power BI. People kept on listing out tools. In your own opinion, how can people really build value of the future in tech? Let me say that again. How can people really build value of the future in tech? What in this context of data professional, for data professionals, what does value entail?
Hmm. Okay. So yeah, thank you. I think this is like a really good one, and I'll try not to be biased. But I think first off, right, in terms of building value, I think it's important for everyone to note that we need to move from being too focused to business focused, right? You want to move away from focusing on tools. It's no longer enough to just know SQL or Python. It's no longer enough to like say, oh, I know how to use Excel. I've worked with Excel. I've built dashboards. I've handled these. I've written codes. I've done this. I've built models and the likes. Right? It's no longer enough, sincerely, for you to just say, oh, these are the things that I have done. Now, if you're doing all of those, how about the business? What is the impact of knowing how to build a dashboard on the business? That is what the organization is more concerned about. What is the impact? How does it drive ROI? How does it drive return on investment at the end of the day? Right? How are you bridging the technical aspect with the non-technical people? Right? So you need to understand how you have to come in here. So you don't want to say, oh, I've learned about subqueries, I've learned Windows functions, so I'm now who I think I am. You're nobody, sincerely, right? You need to understand how you can make impacts in the business. Now, when we talk about value, we're talking about things that would improve business revenue, things that would improve client retention, things that would improve and optimize business processes, right? How business is being operated and all that. So how do you come in into all of this? You don't want to say, oh, I know how to write SQL, so definitely SQL is going to help me be able to achieve this. Absolutely no. Absolutely no. You want to make sure that you align properly with the organizational objectives. What exactly does the organization want to achieve? And then figure out how you can come in, bring in your technical expertise, and then ensure that you're delivering for the organization, right? Organization is more focused about revenue, customer retention, customer growth, and the likes. So you don't want to now start saying, oh, I can write code, I can do this, I can do that. Of course, AI as well can write code. So what is the difference? Why should I hire you when I can hire AI? Or when I can just pay certain amounts to use AI to write the same code which you say you can write. If AI can do the same thing that you can do, then what is the need of getting you hired? So you need to show something that you can do which AI cannot do. For example, understanding the business properly, right? understanding the business and providing deep value. Now, let's say a typical case, right? Of course, we have most of these LLMs today, and they are absolutely useful. Now, however, they cannot be able to understand the Nigerian context properly
Mm,
and provide value for
true,
a business. That's one aspect.
true,
How are you differentiating yourself from these AI models, right? How can we be sure that you're providing significant value compared
true,
to working with AI, right? So that's one aspect. Now, also, they're about to hold you by the neck because we now have Nigerian LLMs, we now have Nigerian models,
mm,
right? So how are you then able to say, oh, regardless of all of this still, this is AI, but in our own local context, how am I still providing value at the end of the day, right? So understand what value is. I think that's like an ambiguous word, but it's also relevant to the business case. So you need to understand what is value for the business and how can I provide this value using the skills that I have as a data professional. Now, the skill that you have is not SQL skill, it's not Excel. Anybody can learn Excel, anybody can learn SQL, right? Well, how do you provide value using the skills that you have? Now, I say something all the time, and that's something that we also need to note. The fact that I know how to use a hammer and a nail does not make me a carpenter, right?
true,
It
true,
doesn't make me a carpenter. So anybody can learn how to use Excel and SQL. But of course, for me to become a carpenter, I need to know how to use a hammer and a nail, right? So
true,
it means
true,
that, again, the tools are not important, but they are also important, right? Now, for you to become a data analyst, you need to learn how to use these tools, but it doesn't mean that because you know how to use this tool, you automatically are a data professional. Absolutely
true.
not. Anybody can use them for their day-to-day operations. But for you to use to become a data professional, you need to know how to use it to even more than how every other person uses it. What differentiates you from someone who just uses it for reporting and all that? You need to stand out in all aspects. Make sure that you stand out in all aspects. Like I already mentioned, AI can write code, but it doesn't understand like nuances of certain things. So you need to come in to that particular aspect and then show that this is where you are exceptional as a professional. So again, it's important that we go from understanding how to just use the tools, and in fact, I think there are a lot of misleading things that we're getting to see today. We have people taking up certifications or completing courses upon courses and saying, "Oh, I've completed this, so I'm now a data." Absolutely no, right?
Computers.
Absolutely no. Of course, these things are very, very important, right? Because it show that you've gone through a particular process. But it goes beyond just having the certificates. We want to be able to see the projects that you have done, the projects that have shaped your thinking. How have you approached solving certain problems? Now, the funny thing is that when you take on real world projects, right, and put them out, now one of the ways that you get employed is because organizations are looking at those things. What are your approach? How have you solved that particular problem, right? And in the case where maybe you have someone from an organization where they are facing that particular challenge, comes across your post, they take interest, and then you get an interview, you automatically land a job, right? So you want to go from just getting certificates, say, oh, I've just completed this particular course, I've done this, and like, to making sure that you work on significant projects that would help you leave a lasting impact, right? So it's very, very important. When we talk about providing value for businesses, you need to understand, first off, what is value to this business? And
Business.
then this is the skill that I have, how can I use this skill to
Apply it.
provide this value to the business? Again, I say it, AI can write code, AI can build dashboards, AI can do the things you're doing, AI can clean your data. So how do you make sure that you stand out from these particular things? How do you make sure that you sell yourself? So don't just say, oh, I know how to use SQL, I know how to use Excel. Of course, it's absolutely great to know how to use them. It's not easy to learn that first off, right? or you need to
Beyond
go
that.
beyond just
Mm.
knowing how to use it. You need to show that you're very skilled with this particular tool. Now, this is why well, I think it's also something that everyone gets to an extent, right? But this is also why, till date, I do not currently have like a particular tool that I work with, right? Because I have decided to like focus my time on the concept, understand the concept, understand how to use that to provide value for businesses, and then I can be able to work with any tool that would help provide that value, right? Rather than saying, oh, I know how to build a dashboard in Excel. I know how to do this and the likes. And then when it comes to actual providing business value, I'm nowhere to be found, right? So instead, you want to make sure that you think deep, you think like an analyst, you think critically, you strategize properly, provide value for the business rather than just focusing on your tool strengths, right? So I believe that's like one thing that would help you. You want to be like a bridge between the AI and your boardroom meetings, or you want to be the bridge between the technical aspect and the non-technical audience, right? So those are like things that you want to really do to help you out.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's been back to back revelation here and there. Thank you so much, Samuel. That takes me to the next. Because of our time, I really want us to begin to round up quickly. But we cannot leave here without attending to these two vital questions. I have seen people pivot a lot. Someone will say, I think I've done, I'm in data for like 1, 2 years now. Maybe I should go to software. Maybe I should try engineering. There's engineering coming up now. Yeah, let me go write Azure engineer and then and then move. Then on LinkedIn now, people will come and say, "Oh, I just wrote fabric data engineer. Oh, I just wrote AI engineering now. I've done data science." And a lot of people are praying that, "Oh, let me go write my too, so that maybe." Then someone will come and say, "Oh, AI is not the thing again. Let me go to software." You know, People have been, just been tossed to and fro, indecisive because of the trends. Now, my question is, what are the strategies to really stay focused and build a long-lasting tech career in all this hula baloo of AI? What do you think are the strategies to build that long-lasting and then to stay focused and know what you want? What do you think you can do to have that firm foundation and say, this is where I am and I'm there? Like you now, I know you are in data for maybe when Jesus come or thank you.
Okay, yeah, so this particular one, I think you're also shooting me because I am also moving from one point to another, but I'm just going to give like a really good word on that. So yeah, how can we make sure that people get a good one? Now, I think that there's so much trends, and one problem that we get to face a lot is jumping on the trends. Now, there's information overload, right? On the internet, there's so many things happening at the same time, and it's easy to get lost in your doings, right? For example, you're taking up a course on data analytics. Let's say it's like a 6 months course, and then you come across another program that's happening sharp 2 months. You decide to jump on it, right? Now, you're getting information from two places, right? You find out another, oh, there's another program happening, you get into it and all that. There's so many things happening in your head at the same time, right? You're just jumping on anywhere simply because you have a mandate that you have given yourself. You have pressured yourself by yourself that you must become a data analyst by the end of 2025. So now anywhere you see
and
that there's
and
a
earn in
training, you
six
want to
figures or seven figures. Put that.
you want to become a data analyst in 3 months and earn in dollars. You will let me say like Gege, you will cry. You will cry. So I think there's like a whole lot that's like going on. There's information overload and it causes a lot of problems for us that we don't realize. I've actually been there. There were times during my learning phase that I have engaged in multiple programs, and at the end of the day, ended up not completing most of them because I am here, I am here, I am here. I just want to learn from everywhere at the same time, right? I end up losing focus at the end of the day and maybe only completing one or two of them. So it's important that you try to pick a particular program rather, filter out the noise, filter out whatever is happening. As long as you know that, oh, I am getting value from this program, right? You want to focus on that program. Commit yourself to learning very well from that particular program rather. Now, also, we could see. I think I came across a post on a WhatsApp community that says a couple of years back, everyone was looking for data analyst, data analyst, data analyst. Now he became a data analyst, and now he's not seen just for data analyst anymore. Everybody is hiring data engineers, data engineers, data engineers, right? So it's crazy. Now, this is also the trends that we're talking about, right? And it's important to note that as long as we're all humans, we'll continue to evolve. The world will also continue to evolve. So it is now up to us to make sure that we do whatever it takes to stay relevant. Now, for example, I'm not going to ask anyone to start learning data engineering simply because we seem to have more data engineering roles today compared to data analytics roles and all that. Absolutely not. There are data analytic roles, and people are still hiring plenty of data analysts, right? Same way people are also hiring plenty of data engineers. But it's important for you to understand where we are currently. As a data analyst today, the roles that you're playing today is not the same role that a data analyst in 2015 or in 2020 was playing, right? It has evolved. The role has evolved. New things have become the norm, right? So you need to understand, where are we currently as a data analyst? What is required of me in today's age, right? In today's business age, what exactly is required of me? What are the skills that I need to learn to make sure that I can compete effectively well with other people, right? So these are things. When you keep on jumping on trends, at the end of the day, you miss out on a lot of things. You miss out on opportunities simply because you're not ready. The time that you were supposed to be ready, you're busy jumping out from place to place to place and all that. So it's important that you prepare yourself, understand where you are currently. Now, in today's age, you get to see a lot of roles now are telling you to learn about predictive modeling, learn about MLOps and the likes, right? Now, I'm not going to say don't learn about this simply because, traditionally, it is not something that a data analyst is supposed to do. If you don't do it, at the end of the day, you're not going to get a job because someone who has that skill will end up getting the job, right? So understand where we are currently. The role today is no longer the role as it used to be in the past. So understand where we are currently and do what you need to do to stay relevant. Till today, I still take up courses, right? Because I want to make sure that I improve on myself. I stay relevant. I'm not retiring anytime soon. So I need to do what it takes to stay relevant. In my field, I keep on learning and learning. I take up courses because I want to improve myself. Now, another thing I've also figured is, of course, everyone wants more money, right? But because I want more money, I need to get more knowledge, right? I need to get more knowledge, more skills. And the only way to get more knowledge and more skill is by taking up courses, looking up new things, learning new things, and then practicing or implementing those new things, right? That's how you're able to build up on yourself, you build up knowledge, and then from building up knowledge, you build up the expertise, and then also you build up your bank account and your life as well. So it's very, very important that we know how to do these things. Again, I would say it, understand where we are currently today, where the world is currently today. You cannot bring in strategies from 2005, 2015 and say you want to implement them in 2025 or 2027, right? It's not going to work. The world is moving every day, right? So you want to make sure that you yourself, you're also constantly evolving. Be at that stage where you are constantly evolving, right? It's something that I like to tell myself that I am an ever constantly evolving person because I have to keep learning and learning and learning. And that's it. Now, one thing I'm also going to say is that we need to avoid focusing on tools. As much as tools are amazing to learn, they are good to have, right? Stop focusing on just tools. Understand the concept, learn the intricacies of data concepts, right? Understand them very well. Um, Now, a couple of months back, yeah, I would say in like the second quarter of the year, right? So I got recommended for a role. Unfortunately, I didn't get a role, right? But I'm just gonna give like a brief of what happened before
Mm.
I went through like series of interviews until like the final one, and of course they wanted someone else. Now, but I'm gonna give you like a brief of what transpired. Now, when I got recommended for it, someone recommended me to the HR, and then the HR reached out to me privately for the role. And I decided, okay, so this is absolutely nice. Now, they wanted a tool that I had never worked with at all, right? They wanted a tool I had never worked with at all. But what did I do? I told the HR, now here's the thing, I have never worked with this particular tool, right? However, if this tool is in this particular aspect, right, of data, then it means that I already have the concept of working with the tool, right? I have the concept of what I want to do, but I do not have the knowledge of working with that tool, right? Now, the concept that I have is general because it cuts across all the tools, whether it's Python, whether it's Excel. For example, let's say I want
Fundamentals.
to clean data, right? I want
Mm.
to clean data. The concept that I'm going to clean a data is the same thing in Excel, Python, SQL, Power BI, Tableau, wherever, right? The concept is still the same. You look out for duplicates, you look out for uh, typos,
Value.
you look out for this, you look out for that. They are still the same, but the difference is in the tool itself. So in Python, I have to do df.duplicate these, right, to be able to check for duplicates. In Power Query, I have to do show duplicates or these. In this other one, I have to do these, remove duplicate, right? So it is the same concept.
Concept.
You just need to
Mm.
understand how it
True.
applies for that particular tool. Now, here's
True.
what happened. I told the HR, I have never worked with this tool, but as long as it's this particular aspect of data, right, I have a knowledge, and that knowledge cuts across every tool. All I just need to do is to learn how to work with that particular tool. And after like 3 interviews, I made it to the final stage with the executive director of the organization, right? But I think they wanted someone else at the end of the day, so I didn't get in. But then what this goes to show is that learn the concept over the tools. Concept over the tools, right? It would help you a lot. When you learn the concept, you pick up a tool, you will be able to apply that process in that same tool better. You just need to understand how it works in that tool. So that's one thing that we want to build on. Again, tools would always evolve. Tools will evolve. I'm sure for people here in the chat who work with maybe Power BI or Excel, you would understand or agree with me that how it was a couple of years back is no longer how it is now. So
True. True.
these tools will evolve. It's definitely evolve. New things will come in. New things would always be implemented. But you need the concepts are always going to still be the same, right? Across the tools. Every 6 months, you're getting to learn a new feature for a particular organization is still going to keep on building more.
More.
Microsoft is still going to say, oh, we no longer want to use Copilot, we want to add a new feature. But the
True.
skills are still the same thing. The
True.
skills cut across everything, the concept cuts across everything. So you want to make sure that you're able to learn the concepts, stay relevant on the current trends, right? Make sure that, okay, there's a new concept, I need to learn about that. Don't jump on tools and tools and tools. Don't jump on terminologies and all that. Understand things and understand them deeply. If there's something you're learning, take your time, learn it very, very well. Like I said, it's not just about learning, select off from table A, where 1 is equal to 2. You need to understand beyond just that. What happens in this case when I execute this, what happens on the back end? What does the engine process? What is the order in which the engine processes this particular query? What happens if there is no index on this particular table that I am running? What happens if there is an index? How does it optimize this particular, how does it make it read faster, right? So you're learning various things. Learn things and learn them very, very well. These are the things that would help you stand out from other people. So when you begin to talk about things, when you provide strategies, right, people would be able to say, oh, this makes a lot of sense. You're speaking from a solid experience, not because you've worked with this or one thing or the other, right? You're speaking because you understand how the engine works, the engine behind all of this, how it actually works, and the likes. And you're definitely going to stand out from every other person with this.
Thank you so much. It's been a good one. So far, just to reiterate on what Samuel has been talking about, we are talking about 2026 and beyond, what it takes to be a successful data professional amidst AI revolution. And so far, for those that will be watching later and for those that are online currently, we've talked about how the next 10 years will look like. What is the next 10 years going to look like? There's still going to be evolution of AI. AI is still going to continue to evolve. But the thing is, in the next 10 years, people are still going to be relevant. Value will be the logo of the future, meaning if you can offer value at the highest level, you are still going to be relevant, irrespective. And we also talked about how can you build that value. And Samuel also mentioned that to build that value, anywhere you are, understand what value means to them. If it's a business, what does value means to that particular business sector, telecoms, oil and gas, then apply that what they mean by what they mean by the concept of value, apply it into your life, and then use it to produce results for that particular company. And then we also talked about strategies to building last long tech career. First thing is know what you want, know where you are, do a lot of course, upskilling every time, every now and then, keep learning, and then understand the area you are. Understand that it's not just about the tools, it's about the values you can bring. You can apply, just like Samuel mentioned just now, he said, don't focus on the tool, focus on the concept. The concept can be applied anywhere. The tools cannot be applied everywhere. Companies can change tool, but the concept, the fundamentals will never change. And I think these points are very, very, very profound. And these are the things that can really help us 2020s and beyond. Even while we still have AI ruling the world, we can still be as valuable as possible. And he also mentioned about putting yourself out there, not building in silos, connecting with people that can help you. Send them your project, send them your portfolio. See, hey, Sam, this is what I'm doing. What do you think about it? Let people in your field, leaders in your field, critique your work. That way, you keep yourself in their mind. They keep remembering you, and with time, when those opportunities come, they will remember you to give you that opportunity offer. Thank you so much once again. Thank you so much, Samuel. Now to the last question, the biggest, the elephant in the room. I will tell people that. Sorry, give me 1 second. Sorry about that. So now I'm back. The last question, which is the elephant in the room. I do tell people, when people say, Michael, what is driving you? Why are you so passionate about what you do? Why do you just want to get the best of result from what you do? And to be sincere, I just tell them it is a means to run away from poverty. I'm not here for one passion. I'm not passionate about anything. I'm passionate about escaping poverty. How I can get myself out of poverty. And yes, passion is good. Even I was reading from one book of Present, he said, passion is good, but if you cannot turn it into what will feed you, it will leave you. So money, ego, owo in Yoruba, it is very, very important. And you agree with me, Sam, that most of the people saying in the tech feed, hey, I want to come into tech, is because of what they see when they see Samuel driving G-Wagon and using iPhone 17 Plus. they they think it's all rosy and they just want the money. Now, my question is, how do we gain financial freedom in this tech amidst this AI? We are struggling with AI not taking our job. I'm a data analyst, I'm a data scientist, I'm a data engineer. How do you think we can, amidst all that, still gain financial freedom, still okay, and do well for ourselves? Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you. I think you already hit it proper, right? First off, right, it's important to have a motive. It's important to have a motive or for why you want to do something, right? So you want to have a motive of becoming a data analyst or getting a job in tech, right? And it's absolutely fine if your motive is because you do not want to be poor. Of course, it's my own motive as well, right? So it's absolutely fine as well, right?
Makes sense.
I'm very passionate. I think when you say that you're very passionate, I just laugh because myself, I'm very passionate about not being poor. I mean, I want to make sure that like I always tell people, I want to change the world, but at least make I first change my belly because
Make
I
I
need to
chop
first
first.
right. Yeah, absolutely. Make I chop first before I can change the world. So it's absolutely okay if you have a goal and your motive is to get into tech so that you can become wealthy or escape poverty. It's absolutely relevant. What I say is that you just need to have something that drives you, something that pushes you all the time to not want to go back to where you are, something that keeps on pushing you to like become better than you were yesterday, right? For example, now my house rent has increased, things are becoming more expensive. It means that I want more money, right? And I have figured out the only way I can get more money is for me to have more knowledge. The only way I can have more knowledge is to understand the trend, take up more courses, practice, build projects, help organizations scale or solve their business problems, right? That's the way I can get more money. So I need to do what it takes to get to that particular level where I am now able to use my skill, solve a problem for a business, and then they can pay me what I actually want them to pay, right? So the same thing also applies. Build up on your knowledge, right? I think a couple of people would say, "Oh, knowledge is no longer power." I'm sorry for you. Knowledge is still power, right? Especially if you're coming from a part where you're not financially buoyant, right? You need to build your knowledge. Knowing things will get you far. Knowing things will get you places, right? You need to show that, oh, I know what you don't know. I need your money, but you also need my knowledge, right? And with my knowledge, I can help you get things going proper, right? So you need to position yourself better for opportunities. And to do that, you need to invest in your knowledge. Invest in your knowledge, get the right knowledge, avoid information overload, and get yourself going. Position yourself rightly for opportunities. There's money on the internet. There are things that would help you out, but you need to position yourself and be sure that you're ready for those opportunities. I think I'll just try to come back to your question again. Now, in the case of financial freedom, right, I think a lot of things apply to financial freedom. And first off, one of it is getting becoming financial literate. So that's like something out of this scope, right? You need to be sure that you're financially literate enough to handle the funds or finances when you eventually get them. Now, for a lot of us, um, we're currently at a broke state, right? And you're already making plans. Once I get 100K like this now, I would invest like 70K. I would use the remaining 30K. I would do this. I would spend this. I would make sure that I buy a lot of foodstuffs and stock up. And then you make plenty of plans, which make a lot of sense. But once the 100K land like this, more it will take the grace of God for you to even have something. In fact, for you to even buy the food that you want to buy, it will take the grace of God. So it's important that we're like financially literate enough to know how to handle the finances when we eventually have them. However, I think the key thing to landing the finances or becoming um, free at the end of the day, right, is for you to position yourself rightly. Invest in your knowledge, invest in yourself, take time out, get the right knowledge that you need. Take up the courses that are going to build you. Now, for me, in time past, I had to like take up plenty of courses, right? And then worked on projects as well. I'm gonna say this here, right? I lost a job a couple of years back, um, because of my status then. Now, it was not because I didn't have the knowledge, right? But because I had not built up the right skills or positioned myself for that. A couple of years back, I made it to the final stage for a data science role, right? For a data scientist role. But I ended up not getting it. And that was because the other person who ended up getting the job, right? He did not just have the knowledge, he also had projects that he had worked on in that particular field, right? In that particular field, he had projects that he had worked on. And for me, I'd worked on projects, but they were outside of that field. But I only had like a general knowledge of certain things. But that person had both a project and knowledge of that particular field. And it was absolutely exciting that he had to get the job, right? Because he had positioned himself already. So one of the things that I'm also going to advise is if you can, you want to niche down to certain areas of your career. Maybe as a data analyst, you want to decide, oh, I want to focus on healthcare, or I want to focus on education, or I want to focus on oil and gas, right? You want to niche down. It's going to help you become more better than someone who is everywhere, right? Now, it's important to have like a general knowledge. Of course, it's important to like be a generalist, but it's also even better to niche down to certain particular areas, right? So everyone knows, oh, when it comes to telecom data, for example, Mike is the go-to guy. When it comes to maybe fintech, Sam is the go-to guy. When it comes to these, you are the go-to person, right? So you need to also position yourself for opportunities, right? Do whatever it takes to get yourself positioned rightly for the opportunities, and you definitely get it. Again, I talked about putting yourself out, which is something that is going to help you gain finances at the end of the day. There are jobs on Upwork, there are jobs on various other freelancing platforms that you can get. One of the ways for you to get that is by having a good public profile, right? Let people know what you've been able to do. Let people see what you're doing, right? And then, yeah, you definitely get people reaching out to you for partnerships, for contracts, and all that, right? So bottom line, prepare yourself for opportunities so that when the opportunities come, you won't be caught unexpectedly, right? So I think that that's something that's going to help you out. I don't have jobs to give to anybody, right? So I'm just only going to tell you things that you need to do to land a job, and that's all I've talked about, right? And ensure that you're financially literate enough to um be able to manage your finances when you eventually get them.
Hmm. The last point, financial literacy. Thank you so much. Position, position, position. Be where you are supposed to be. Be in places that will help you, that will help your career, that will position you to get better and become bit more financially free. at every point in time. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Samuel, for such a great session. I think we'll just be rounding it down now. But before we do that, there is a question which I will just briefly speak to, then you can just add your voice, right? This person says getting along with tools is dedication and commitment, but bridging the gap with business goals and objective need deep strategy. And you shared some. But please share one cogent step that can help beginner. Now let me say this. For beginners, we talked about dedication and commitment. For beginners as well, for you to be able to understand business goals and objective and use that strategies and all that, you need to be hardworking. Hard work is not obsolete. You can only work smart when you've worked hard. So when people say you just work smart, no. At the beginning of your career, you need to be hardworking. And what do I mean by that? For you to build this, understand these business goals, you need to go to different teams. Sam, what do you know about fintech? How does it even work? Yes, I know about data. Is there any what's the engine or what's the architecture behind software? How does software engineering works? Okay, data analytics. Okay, if I so every unit, go to every area unit, get that knowledge. Have sleepless nights. Sometimes you need to just sleep 4 5 hours in a day so that you can cover grants. I was talking to some people some days ago that you need to do deep work. You cannot be on your phone 5 7 8 hours 11 hours per day and you say you want to really achieve some of these things. It takes time to build that expertise. Later on, you can now leverage on that and then work smarter, then focus on more of networking, building relationships, positioning like Sam has said, understanding financial literacy and all. So if there is one thing that a beginner should learn, it is be hardworking at the beginning of your career. Be extremely hardworking so that you can beat time, learn fast, fail fast, and iterate very fast and correct yourself as fast as you can. So that's what I want to add there. I don't know if Samuel wants to add any other thing. Then we bring this to a close in the next 2 3 minutes. It's been a very grown-up session. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think you've nailed it already. Getting along with you is dedication and commitment, but bridging the gap with business goals and objective need strategy. And you share one cogent step that can help the beginner. Um, Now I think I would say that for a beginner, right? I'm not sure what aspect of beginner you are, but I'll just try to keep it around something that works for everyone. Now I think for a beginner, right? I would say first off, know what you want and then work towards that, right? Michael has already mentioned that you have to be a hard worker and a smart worker at the same time, right? I mentioned also that when I joined my current place of work, right, I was lost on a lot of aspects, right? Not because I did not have like the knowledge, I did have the knowledge, but how it works in the business case, right? I did not have that. And I needed to start learning that. I gave myself the entire year, say, oh, this year I need to understand how it works very well, right? So I can move from just being someone who takes instructions to executing things, and then move to start providing recommendations and solutions. And it actually happened, right? It happened because by the end of the year, in that first year, my manager reached out to me to provide some of the things that we wanted to do in the coming year, right? And I gave him like a whole list of things that we're going to do, and it has been that way till date, right? So those are like things that you want to do. Understand what you want. You can decide to set a goal for yourself. Don't pressure yourself, right? You pressure yourself, you're on your own. I'm not going to be held liable for that. But yeah, you need to set goals for yourself, know what you want to do, and work towards that. There are definitely going to be distractions, but you want to know how to filter out those distractions, right? In the case of trying to become a data analyst or as a beginner, I would say I'd assume that you're taking up courses, right? Again, avoid information overload. There's too many information on internet. Pick a particular program, focus on that particular program, get it completed, and then work on projects, practice, practice, practice. I'll say it again. Ensure that you're not missing out anything from the foundationals. A lot of us keep rushing to become advanced, right? We keep rushing to become advanced, but the advanced aspects are still based on the basics. They are still built based on the basics. So, what are you rushing for? Like so I'm saying this because I have had like my own personal cases where I ignore the basic parts and then rush up to the advanced part simply because I think I know it. And then I end up, oh, I have to go back. Right. So you also want to make sure that you're moving gently, follow it step by step. There's a concept, don't skip that concept and jump into another concept. Ensure that you take your time through it. Again, the only way you can become better, especially in this line of work or in tech, right? The only way you can become better is by practicing. No one cares how much knowledge you have about certain things. What people are interested in is what you have done. Let me see what you have
Hmm.
done. What are the
Okay.
projects that you have done? Right? You say you know it. Okay, let me see what you have done. Let me see what you're currently doing. And then you can tell me about what you're going to do. Right? So you need to show things. It's called technical for a reason. You need to show how technical you have done. Now, again, you don't want to be caught up in being all technical and knowing all the technical parts without understanding how you can provide value for a business, right? At the end of the day, you might end up losing opportunities to someone who has invested in knowing the business processes, right? How can I make money for the organization? How can I improve the organizational processes and all that? How can I optimize our current strategies, right? So you want to ensure that you think about the business aspect as well. You have the technical knowledge, now also build on the business knowledge as well. You have to be business oriented, also think in the aspect of improving revenue and all that. Now, if fun fact about this is at the end of the day, once you're able to build yourself both technically and business wise, you're automatically setting yourself up for a position where you can be able to run organizations as well, right? Because you now understand the technical aspects, you also understand the business aspects, right? So you're setting yourself up for success in the future. You may not know it right now because what you're looking at is currently in front of you. But ahead, there are so many other things that you're positioning yourself for, right? So make sure that while you're learning the technical aspects, right, don't just learn them theoretically, learn them and practice on them. Build projects that are going to solve real business issues. Think about what's happening in Africa, or maybe you look at an organization that you want to join, right? Think about one problem that they could be facing. Get data sets from the internet and work on something similar, and then you can pitch it to them. One way or the other, you get noticed, right? Consistency, persistency, and all that. They will definitely put you on the right spot. But again, like I always mention, just make sure that you're prepared for opportunities when they come, because the opportunities are there just waiting for you to take them. And you can only take them when you have the right skill sets and also prepared. Right. So yeah, again, yeah, know what you want and go for it. Don't overload yourself with too many information, and filter out some of the information that you're getting, right? Again, be ready to learn, unlearn, and relearn things, right? We're in a world that evolves, right? New things happen, so you want to weigh what you currently know and unlearn it if the case may be, right? And then relearn what you're supposed to learn better. There are a lot of things that I've had to do, right? So you also want to make sure that your growth minded, you open yourself to learn more and more. And then yeah, just be prepared. Do the things that you're doing. Practice, practice, practice. Put yourself out there, and it definitely be able to get it going good. So yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's all I can say for now. This is impactful, and I believe everyone that has joined and everyone who will also watch even after this live session would find it so handy to take one or two and ride with it. Thank you so much, Samuel. Things to take note. Know what you want, go for it. Don't overload too many information. Learn. It's the AI era, so we begin to continue to learn. There are things you need to unlearn them, and then if there are things to also keep on doing, relearn. Connect, position. AI is here, maybe not yet ready to take our job in Africa, on this side of Africa, and maybe globally at some point. But yeah, it's not yet. If one thing that stands out from what he has shared is that value will remain constant till eternity. So if you're a person of value, you understand business problem, you understand what the business wants, the value will still be relevant. AI will not do all that. Value thinking pattern will be replaced by AI. Thank you so much, Samuel, for this great session. It's good to have you. We are really glad to have you. I'm so excited, and I really appreciate your time and the effort you put into this. I think at this point, yes, we'll wrap it up and bring it to a close. If you have further questions, you can still drop in the comment section. I've also dropped Sam's uh, LinkedIn profile on the chat. You can connect with him. You can ask him questions. There are also events you can attend. Is one of the biggest event hosts and event partner in Nigeria. So Sam is that. So reach out to him, attend events, and I believe success in 2026 and beyond is assured by the grace of God. Thank you so much, Samuel. Thank you, everyone. At this point, we'll draw the curtain. Final words. You are
Oh yeah,
muted.
thank you very much, everyone. It's been my pleasure to have this going. Right. I really appreciate being here. Um, I believe at the end of the day, we're going to like get it going good. You just need to know what you want for yourself and push for that. Like I already mentioned, you can have your motive, right? Your motive for wanting to be in tech is to escape poverty. Um, just bear that in mind and make sure that you do whatever it takes to escape poverty, right? Myself, whatever I do is because I want to escape poverty as well, right? And I'm making sure that I'm working towards that. There's still a lot to go further, right? But I can be able to look back last year and say, oh, I'm way better and bigger than I
Mm,
was last year. I'm
mm,
also able to look at the previous years as well, and get to say the same thing. By next year, I would also be able to look at where I would be by next year and say the same thing that, oh, 2026, I am now better than I was in 2025, right? So you just want to keep evolving, evolving,
mm,
evolving.
mm,
Again, I think I did talk about tools, right? Focus on the concepts rather than tools. 10 years from now, in fact, by next year, 10 years from now, the tools that we're currently using today, some of them some of them are going to be put in museums, right? We'll no longer have them again, right? So you want to make sure that you focus
Fortran,
on.
Fortran comes to mind, and all this programming language of yesteryears.
Oh, absolutely. So you want
Mm,
to make sure that you first build on like the principles of logic. You want to build on strategy, business strategy, very very important. Problem solving, providing value. So these are things that would remain highly unchanged. Right, the tools are going to evolve. They would change. Build on the concepts, understand these things, right? And then yeah. At the end of the day, like I also mentioned, we've not gotten to that stage where AI is going to replace you. It's AI cannot think for itself currently. You still need to be the one to give it prompts, right? So we've not gotten to that stage yet. There's The world is moving rapidly, right? AI innovations are moving rapidly. In fact, by the time you go to bed this night, wake up in the morning, there's one new AI announcement. Someone is building something, right? So you want to make sure that you keep building yourself as well. These guys are not resting, and neither should you. So yeah, just make sure that you build yourself, position yourself rightly, And I will definitely meet somewhere, right? Counting the money. So yeah, I'm rooting
I
for
love it.
everyone, and I hope everyone has like a fantastic one, and build like a successful and very thriving career in data. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. See you in 2026. Go and count the money. That put that in quotes. Samuel Iheagwam, 2026. All right. Bye, everyone. Bye. Thank you so much,
All
sir.
right, thank you. Bye.
On the next one.